Yes, you can, please.
Was that okay? That for an attention getting first line. That's what he used on us. Just a few things there. That's true in Malaysia and in Singapore. Any drug usage, death penalty. Doesn't matter how much, how little. So I know us being a drug-free ship, that's not a problem. Moving along to the next area, problems. AIDS, small problem here, not as bad as some of the other places we've been. A lot of the gals that work the Orchid Road clubs have, they come over on 2-week tourist visas. They don't really particularly care about any long-term problems that they might have in the area. They're coming from some of the other countries, Malaysia, Thailand, etc., here 2 weeks and gone. There is some AIDS and venereal disease up in that area. We're doing this quick this time so we can all get on liberty. The exchange rate is 1.72 Singapore dollars to 1 U.S. The easy way to do it is 2 for 1, and we'll be selling them down on the mess decks. The sales price that they're doing down on the mess decks is comparable to in town, so it's kind of a push. This is more a matter of convenience so that you actually have some shekels in your pocket when you go across. The Clifford Pier area where we'll be landing our Liberty boats on the last day, we'll have an accommodation exchange rate where we can exchange back the Singapore dollars for American dollars. All right, a little bit about Singapore. They have had the same president for the last 31 years. His name is Lee Kuan Yew, and anytime you have a president for 31 years and he's good, you can expect to see some real tremendous things that have happened to a country. That's what's happened to Singapore. There are no slums here. Roughly 80% of the people live in government-supplied housing, which is very, very, very nice. It's a very, very industrious group of people that live here. They are forward-thinking. They are not a third world country. They're, in fact, a second world country. They are a very, very progressive country, equal and probably in the point of almost excelling and exceeding by the Japanese. It's a very cosmopolitan, sophisticated city. It is not Phuket. It's sophisticated. And I'll get into a few things there. Okay. First thing, telephone calls for those of you that want to reach out. International direct dialing is the best way, and the telecom phone plaza down near Clifford Pier is another way that you can do that. You can call from down there. The worst way that you can phone home is to use the hotel phones because they have various surcharges that they just kind of tack on and tack on and tack on. What we will be doing is AT&T has given us 3 USA Direct phones that we'll be setting up somewhere on the ship with a watch, and those USA Direct phones are very straightforward, very simple. You call up, you make it a collect call, or you charge it to your credit card back in the States. We'll have those set up on board the ship, 3 of them, and more word will follow on those, and you can call from the ship if you so desire. That's probably as cheap as the international direct dialing. It's the next best way to go. All right, we'll be landing at Clifford Pier, and I'll point Clifford Pier out on a real map this time. And there's taxis, there's metro service, and there's what's called tri-shots here in town. The taxis are pretty self-explanatory. The metro system is extremely sophisticated, extremely efficient, and is the recommended mode of travel. You can just about travel anywhere for under $1 US in Singapore on the metro. The tri-shots, it's your own risk. They're kind of exciting. Taxi service, 2.2 Singapore dollars for about the first mile, and then it clicks off after that. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are. The Captain Allen indicated that, in fact, it's not all that expensive. They're not a rip-off. They're pretty good as long as you get in a metered cab. Some things to remember. Number one, if you use a cab after midnight, from midnight until 0600, reveille, everyone, from midnight until 0600, there's a 50% surcharge on whatever the fee is. So if the meter reads 40 Singapore dollars, you pay him 60 Singapore dollars. Boom. End of conversation. That's the law. Coming into the Clifford Pier area where we're going to be staying, where you're going to be going back and forth to the ship, from about 7:30 in the morning until 10:30 in the morning, and again from 14:30 until 1600 at night, there is an additional surcharge to come into the middle of downtown. If you're outside of that area and you use a taxi that brings you into the downtown area, you'll pay an additional, I believe it's $3 tacked onto the bill, just for the guy to come into this area during those hours. Taxis are very efficient here at all the major shopping centers. There's what's called a taxi queue or a taxi line. You just get into the line behind a line of people and it moves very smoothly, just like any major American city. You don't want to, in the major shopping areas, try to wave your hand at a taxi going by because, number one, it's considered rude. These other people are already standing there. And number two, and more importantly, he's not going to stop for you. He's going to go to the queue because he realizes that we may be uncouth barbarians with teeth marks in our forehead and we just don't understand the rules of engagement. Don't rent any cars. There's a couple of reasons for that. You're supposed to have an international driver's license. There's some insurance problems that you may run into, and they ride on the wrong side of the street here, so it gets kind of confusing for us. We have a whole bunch of these little books called Guide to Singapore, and if you're interested in any dining information, it's in Chapter 6. Basically, all the food here is good. You can go to any hawker stand, hawking food on the street, and it'll be tasty, it'll be safe, there won't be any problems. Captain Allen said he's been here for a while, he's never had a problem with that. The dress code in Singapore, and I'm going to take a little bit of time here and read it to you. This is the dress code for Singapore. I want everybody to pay attention to this, and well, it'll save us just a lot of hassle. Following is guidance concerning local reaction to extremes of dress and standards of conduct and attire expected of the U.S. military visiting Singapore. Any extreme manner of dress, i.e. sloppy or revealing, is frowned upon by both Singapore officials and the public as a whole. This includes, but is not limited to, tie and dye shirts, bleached clothing, shawls worn as shirts, cut-off dungaree trousers, shirts not designed as outerwear, muscle shirts, tank tops, torn clothing, and sockless sandals. Hair over the ears and touching the collar is not considered in good taste for males. Police and judges are not tolerant and lenient of Europeans and Americans who display extremes of dress and conduct. Although Singapore has been a seaport from its very beginning and sailors ashore are a familiar sight, public drunkenness is particularly offensive to the Asian society and morality. Except for the professional bar girls, it is a very Victorian society, and an offside pinch or pat constitutes an assault or the equally serious legal offense here in Singapore of what's called outraging the modesty of a female. Now, that works both ways. If you insult a woman, for you guys out there, you can be charged with outraging the modesty of a female, and they're going to take you to court. Flip side of that, for the ladies on board, if someone comes up and grabs your butt or anything like that, bingo, you just get a cop, and the person that did it is in serious kimchi. All right, a couple of things that I wanted to go over here real fast. For E4s and above, there's a pretty reasonably priced place where you can go to for drinks. It's called the Singapore Armed Forces Club, and it's at the corner of Beach Road and Brassard's Hard. Let me just read a little bit about the Singapore Armed Forces Club. It's an NCO club located at junction of Brasa Road and Beach Road in downtown Singapore, so it's really not all that far from Clifford Pier. It has a bar, a snack bar, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, billiards, and a shopping arcade. Food and beverages are sold at very reasonable prices. Proper attire consists of no collarless t-shirts, no shorts, no sandals and slippers. Actually, this is interesting. It actually says here entry is limited to E1 through E9, not E4. We'll have to check on that. Right now I know for a fact that E4 and above are to E9 are allowed in there, but this here says it's E1 are also allowed in there. All right? For E7 and above, there's the American club that they can go to. There is only one club in town that is placed out of bounds. Pay attention here. It's the Woodstock Club, and it's in the Far East Plaza. For those of you that think that maybe thinking of making a beeline there because it's a great place to go, reconsider, because the senior officer here in Singapore, Captain Allen, his house overlooks that, and he can see his apartment overlooks that place. So if he sees sailors going in there, you may be accosted by a captain who will secure your liberty and send you home in very short order. Okay, buddy system anywhere. It's wise to do that. There is a lot of pickpocketing here, but you know, hey, we've been around for a little while. You just take the normal precautions, and you shouldn't have any problems. Don't leave your clothes out on the beach. For those of you that may have been pickpocketed in Phuket, no names. Knives are not to be brought ashore. I don't want to get into any arguments at all with this long, that long, whatever. Knives be above 2.5 inches long are considered an offensive weapon, and they are not tolerated by the Singapore police. Boogie Street, for those of you that are old veterans, is gone forever. It's an MTR stop now, and a lot of the creatures that were denizens of that area have now moved on to Queen Street and Johor Bahru. Singapore is an international port. There's an awful lot of people that from every country in the world that come in here. Ergo, it's an intelligence bonanza for potential adversaries of the United States. There's Soviets in here. There are Red Chinese in here. There are Bulgarians, East Germans. They're our friends now, though. And a few others. The thing you got to remember is if anybody comes up to you and they're Chinese, they speak with an East European accent, whatever, no matter what their story is, they're a free Pole that just escaped from Poland, whatever, and you say, oh my gosh, was it exciting? You have to figure out that he may be a KGB operative. Don't tell him anything about the ship. Take his name and report it back to us, and we'll let the NIS agent here in Singapore know about it. But there will be attempts to contact at least a couple members of the crew while we're in port here. Mount Elizabeth Hospital is the hospital of choice. It is the best hospital in Asia. If there's any problems, if you have any medical problems whatsoever, Mount Elizabeth Hospital recognizes the green ID card. If you get in an accident, you get in whatever, just get the taxi to get you to Mount Elizabeth Hospital. You show your green ID card. They'll start taking care of you. The ship will be contacted. We'll send a medical representative in, and it'll be taken care of. But that's the rule of engagement for any medical problems that you might have. Tipping. Not a big issue here. They don't generally go for it in a big way. Generally, there is a 10% surcharge added to your bill in addition to a 4 or 5% state tax, and that's called plus plus. So it's generally going to be added onto your bill. You don't have to tip if you don't want to. They're getting more than their fair share. For those of you that are using the Mass Rapid Transit, the stop that you want to get off on is called Raffles Place, and it's not too far from the Clifford Pier. It's walking distance to Clifford Pier. For the people that play golf, golf on the weekends is not a good idea. This is a golf-addicted society, and the weekend golf courses are full. However, during the weekdays, there's a super place called Sentosa Golf Course, and I'll show you. It's on Sentosa Island, which is to the south of here, and you can catch a ferry from the World Trade Center, which I'll sort of point out if I don't completely screw up the thing that's over there. And you can catch the ferry there. It costs 40 Singapore dollars, which is about $25 US, to play the golf course there. It's not, you don't get electric carts. You have little pull carts to pull the stuff around. Okay. On the 10th of June, which is not, I guess it's Tuesday, we're going to have concessionaires on board the ship from 0800 until 12 o'clock. The concessionaires are part of the Navy resale system, and they are represented by the Navy. It'll be the best prices in town. It'll be competitive with anyone, and the guarantee that you get is through the Navy Resale Center, just as if you'd bought it at the Navy Exchange. They'll be selling things like some of these, what do they call those orchids here, the gold-plated orchids? Is it Crease or Osis? Anyway, there's gold-plated orchids, there's some orchids, there's jewelry. They'll have a whole lot of that stuff. Again, the prices will be the very best in town. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Liberty expires for all hands at 07:15 on the 12th. We set the sea and anchor detail at 0800, and the ship is underway at 0900 on the 12th. All right, I've got a real map this time. A few things I want to go over with you all. I said it was a Victorian society. All right, just a couple of keys here. I'm getting some cues. Littering, spitting on the sidewalk, jaywalking, there you can get fined. The government needs money. We have money. Therefore, if you spit on the deck, you may get fined. Just stand by for it. If you do it, you pay the fee. Smoking in public is frowned on. So do your smoking in private or in a bar, wherever, but not in public. Again, like I said, it's a Victorian society, and it has been ruled with a benevolent iron hand for the last 31 years, and the people are happy with their government, they're happy with the direction they've gone, and they tend not to tolerate people that are not on board with them. All right. All right, here we go. This is our genuine map. This is better, though. Bigger. Nobody can see that. Okay, we're ready to go. Where we are is right here in the Clifford Pier area, right around here, right there. And this is where the predominance of everything that we're going to be doing will be centered. For the golfers, Sinosa Island is down here, and I believe that there's like a recreation amusement park in this area too, that you can catch the ferry over to Sinosa Island and wander around there. That's where the golf course is. This is the causeway to Malaya. If you go to Malaysia, you have to have your passport. If you don't have a passport, you don't come back. That should be not a lot of interest. Over this area is kind of an out-of-bounds area. It's military. This is just purely industrial over here. So again, it's sort of a there's not much of interest over here. This is all military, all industrial. This is also out of this way is the airport area. It's kind of an out-of-bounds area, strictly. The aircraft traffic over here. Generally, what you'll be doing is in here. However, for those of you that find that you may have spent a lot of your money and you don't have a lot left, there is, and you want to take and spend a quiet day away from the madding crowd, you can go on your own all the way back up here to Zamboanga Port, to the old Terror Club, which used to be the Royal Navy Officers Club up there. It's open to all ranks in the United States military. There's an Olympic-sized swimming pool up there. There's real good food, and it's reasonably priced. That's a nice area if you just want to get away from the madding crowd and relax. A lot of locals up there, not too much in the touristy areas. Orchard Road is this area right in here. Let me see, hold on a second, where is it? Somewhere right around in here. And that's where most of the shopping goes on. And that is just about the brief. So I'm going to take questions for about 5 minutes. If there's any questions, we'll get this show on the road. What? Yeah, hotel reservations. For those of you that didn't make hotel reservations earlier, hotel reservations are being taken in conference room 3 right now, and you'll get the military rate. And those of you that the 47 people whose names we did get, you can go ahead and go there. You pay your fee. They'll take it for action right there, and we'll be good to go.
Tell them it's inclusive. That's inclusive. Room money, everything. The only thing that you're going to have to pay when you check out is that you take minibar or any insurance. Everything else is the tax. Everything.
All right. Everything you pay for, the only thing you'll have to pay after you check out is the minibar bill, which is the same as Phuket.
You should make this as Singapore, okay? You should be able to figure that out yourself, right? Who's got duty today? Okay, and we're here for how many days? Who's this?
Laundry services are being arranged. There will be laundry service at Clifford Pier.
It's May. You should be able to figure it out. It's May 3412. So what does that tell you?
Someone doesn't know which duty section he's in, so he had to call the command master chief on that one. All right, next question. Just hang up on him.
Want to know who the fuck's got duty at PI?
That's not important. I'm not going to answer. Just hang up on him.
Master Chief Mel, please.
Christ.
Pardon? No. No Army base. There's Singapore Army, yeah, and then they got the old Navy base over the North Island over at Zamboanga Shipyard. There's no U.S. Army base.
The clubs, the Army club, someone's asking about. There's the Singapore Armed Forces Club is an Army club, or a military armed forces club. The other club is the Terror Club, which is all the way to the north at Zamboanga Port, which is the old Royal Navy port.
Yeah. So which one? Okay, just say it. Did we cover the racetracks out there in Central?
In Central? Racetrack.
Going like you're going towards Zamboanga, I believe.
Is it?
Right on that. There's a highway.
What kind of racetrack is it got?
Hold on, this is the expressway going out.
There's a there's a MRT going out that way. Doesn't show the race.
Yeah, it is. Actually, on this one you can see it.
Well, just point to it there.
It's on that expressway. Look at that new expressway going north, like going in Zen way. You back up about halfway, right in the middle of that center of the island. You see a dog track.
Where?
Come up the other way. Come up, no, on the grade road going up. There you go. Go grade, right in there. Right, isn't that racetrack right where your pointer's at?
Yeah, right here. Got it. Okay, there's a. For those of you that want to race the dogs, there's a racetrack right here. In fact, that looks like it right there. Circular sort of thing.
Right.
Dogs run around in a circle. There's a racetrack there for those of you that are gamblers. If you're really into that sort of thing. This is getting out of control.
There's all kinds. You just have to go out here and walk around. There's all kinds of small shops. There's just millions of them right out here. Just towns, just like San Diego, like walking downtown San Diego or Hong Kong. Real simple. Okay, fine.
Anything else?
Just want to know if there's any coffee shops. There's millions of them.
Somebody wants to know if there's a coffee shop in Singapore. There's one or two.
Master Chief, can I help you? Okay,
I think we're.
in process right now with the stuff where they had a scheduled manager doctor with right now. It should be posted down there in the corner.
We have a 220 passenger boat waiting right now. So any other questions? I think
One about the boat schedule, want to know when. They're just going to post it.
plenty of boats, plenty to get you ashore.
Yes.
That's right. The boats. You listen for the bell. You'll know there's a boat coming alongside.
There's going to be right there at Fleet Landing, right there at I forget the name of it again. Right there, yeah, right there. And you walk up, there's cabs and everything's right there. You get back there, man.
All right. One final thing, if you have to.
Site TV, Master Chief.
Hold on. Building up to a crescendo.
Yeah, like I said, he doesn't know either. There's this
If you have to,
schedule right now, and it'll be posted down.
wrap your rascal.
We have no idea either. They gave us
Cut
a
it.
schedule